What up, Mike? Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1714 of Toronto Mic'd, proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Yes, we are open. An award-winning podcast from Monaris, hosted by FOTM Al Grego. Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. Join me at Christie Pitts for the best baseball in the city outside the dome. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Building Toronto's Skyline, a podcast and book from Nick Iones, sponsored by Fusion Corp Construction Management Inc. and Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Today we are live from the Glen Abbey Golf Club in beautiful Oakville for the 16th annual Joe Carter Classic Golf Tournament. The time as I speak to you is 7:20 a.m. At 6:30 a.m., a wonderful FOTM, Tim Herron, was outside as my driver, picking me up. And he got me here. I'm all set up. I'm in the lobby. The celebrities are starting to trickle in because if I look to my right now, I see Rick Vaive. There's Rick Vaive. Tim, Rick Vaive is here. Okay, Tim didn't want to come on the mic, but he might help me close this show. So this is all to set the table. I'm set up in the clubhouse at Glen Abbey. The only other media present is the Fan 590. They're recording live. I see FOTM Ben Ennis way over there. So I believe the way this works is I believe Sportsnet gets first crack at the celebrities as they come in, be it Dion Phaneuf or Jeremy Roenick or Dave Stewart, and then I'm allowed to pounce afterwards and get who I can here. So I believe, play-by-play here, I see Rick Vaive has wandered over to the Fan 590 table. So again, there's not a lot of activity right now, very early, 7:21, but Rick Vaive has sat down. He's on the Fan 590 now. So perhaps our first guest will be Rick Vaive when he finishes his hit on the Fan 590. So stay tuned. We don't know what's going to happen today, and that's part of the fun. Live from Glen Abbey Golf Club for the Joe Carter Golf Tournament. As is tradition, we did the exact same thing last year. My first guest, Leafs captain, first 50-goal scorer in franchise history. It's Mr. Rick Vaive. How you doing, Rick?
I'm good.
Good to see you. You might remember your Toronto Mike debut was at Christie Pitts. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Before a Leafs game.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then we did it again last year. Hey, I know you don't have a lot of time because I can smell the bacon. Can you smell that?
Yeah, I can actually.
You haven't had breakfast yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I got a hungry Rick Vaive is what I got here. So we're going to be real quick here. Hot takes. Okay, you wrote a piece for The Sun.
Yep.
Can we chat about that? It was quite a hot take. Firstly, is this the new chapter in your career? You're going to be a sports journalist and be writing more often. Is that the plan?
No. I didn't write it. I just kind of on the phone talked to Lance, and he's the one that wrote it, and I just gave him my takes on each game, and we went from there.
Well, let's talk for a moment, if you don't mind, about Mitch Marner. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, because that's where we're making the bacon, right?
Yeah, well, I just feel that he's not able to let things roll off his back. I think he takes things seriously. I remember when I played in Toronto, I read the paper every day. It wasn't always positive, but at the end of the day, if you if you can't handle the pressure and let things roll off your back, then you can't play in a market like Toronto, especially if you're from Toronto, which makes it even worse.
Like I mentioned off the top, you're the newest member of our sports media, but there's a lot of sports media in Toronto, and people give a shit about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm talking about the hockey team now, not the baseball team. And the fact is that you're going to have a lot of eyeballs on you, and every move is scrutinized, and that's not for all personality types, is it, Rick?
No, absolutely not. I mean, especially when you're a Toronto boy. You're from Toronto. You just had a child, and everybody wants to get into your life. And I just say I don't know. I when I look at Mitch before games and things like that, he looks nervous. Just something in his face and he closes.
You're reading
his
his body language
during the national anthem and breathing and he just looks nervous, and I think he would benefit from probably going to like San Jose or Utah or somewhere like that.
Right, where no one will recognize you.
Nobody will know him. So him and his wife could go to the mall with their kid, and
right.
Nobody would bother them, and they could have a rather normal life in a place like that.
But let me ask you this, okay? So we just had the Four Nations Cup in February, and you want attention. Okay, that was huge because at the same time, I don't know if you remember this, Rick, the President of the United States was talking about making us the 51st state. So there was a lot. It was more than a hockey game for a lot of us Canadians. And in overtime, in the finals there, it was Mitch Marner who gave that sublime pass to Connor McDavid, who put it home to win that thing. And I mean, the whole country erupted in celebration. But there's Mitch rising to the occasion. I mean, he made a hell of a play when the entire country needed it most. Yeah. So he has the ability to elevate his play when all the pressure's on.
Oh,
So what's the difference? I guess what's the difference between
he's a great player.
Yeah,
there's no question. I mean, we're not questioning his ability. That's one thing.
Right.
I just come playoff time, it just seems like I mean, he's not. You look at the way Florida played.
Right.
I mean, they just finish every check. They don't, and it doesn't matter who they are, what size they are. They finish every single check, and. When Mitch seems to be nervous sometimes to go after the puck because he's going to get hit. And, it's not a knock on him. It's just, I mean, he's an extremely talented player, but come playoff time, you got to play a little differently. And the game is basically played 3 feet from the boards. And if you're not willing to take a hit to make a play or hit someone to knock them off the puck, then obviously you're not going to have success.
I love this Rick Vaive real talk, man. And I love the fact you're now a 3-timer on Toronto Mike. 3rd time. Your 5th time, Rick, we're going to get him a jacket, okay? Tim, take a note. A jacket for Rick Vaive, his 5th time. I know you're smelling the bacon and you're wanting to get out of here, but I just want to ask you about one more guy, Connor McDavid, okay? So Connor McDavid, who scored the goal that Mitch Marner set him up for that big winner, the best player in the game today. Will Connor McDavid eventually become a Toronto Maple Leaf?
I don't know. I can't see that happening. I really can't.
You're breaking my heart, Rick.
No, well, I mean, I just don't think that Edmonton's ever going to let him go. They're going to pay him whatever, and don't forget the cap's going to go up to $113 million and within 3 years. So, they could probably pay him $18 to $20 million.
Do you get a cut of that? I feel like we...
I wish.
Rick missed out on these good... Look, I got to say thank you again because you're kicking things off at the Joe Carter Classic. Love seeing you here. Hope to see you here again next year. But again, I just want to thank you because I'm going to tell 10-year-old Mike, that's me, I'm going in a time machine to the mid-'80s, and I'm going to tell 10-year-old Mike, he didn't get 1, he didn't get 2, he got 3 sit-downs with number 22, Rick Vaive, 50-goal scorer. I'm going to blow his mind, man. So thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Oh, my pleasure.
Everything I know about the sax, I learned it from Lisa Simpson on The Simpsons here, my friend. We got a bona fide saxophonist here. Please remind me, what's your name?
I'm Elan Trotman.
And Elan, Give me a vibe. Where would I hear some of your fantastic work here? I want to learn more about Elan.
Sure. I have about 10 albums as a solo artist, Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Amazon Music. My latest project was a Marvin Gaye tribute called Dear Marvin on the saxophone. And my latest single is called Runnin' Hot. It was just #1 song in the country on Billboard Smooth Jazz Radio for 3 weeks.
Smooth jazz. They don't let me listen to smooth jazz. It brings me down. They want me up.
Everybody needs a little smooth jazz sometimes.
For how long you been playing saxophone?
For as long as I can remember, man. Since I was about 10 years old. I went to the Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I'm actually a professor there now.
Okay. You're a real professor, though, because sometimes teachers call themselves professor. You're a real professor.
I'm a real professor with real students, yes.
Man, okay. Now, where are you based? You're based in Boston?
Yeah, based in Boston, but originally born and raised in Barbados.
And at what age did you make your way to the States?
Right after high school, so I started my undergrad studies when I was 17 years old. Yeah.
Okay. And how often do you get to Toronto? Or the GTA?
Once every 2 years. I've performed at the Harbor Center quite a few times for the Barbados on the Water Festival.
Hey.
I've done the Markham Jazz Festival, and this is my 5th year doing Joe's tournament.
So how do you get involved in this tournament? Like, is there somebody who says, hey, we got to get Elan? What's going on here?
So I met Joe through a mutual friend at another golf tournament, and he knew that I love golf, and I got my first invite, like I said, about 5 years ago. I've been coming back every year since to support him and his foundation. I also have a foundation, so I understand the importance of giving back to the community, and us as public figures and celebrities, we have a duty to also give back.
I love it. Here's my pledge to you, my friend. I'm going to catch up on all I've missed, man. I'm going to be on. I use YouTube Premium. Okay, so I don't have the Spotify
you'll
account.
Find me on there.
I'm going to find you. I'm going to listen to this. I do have one last question. You're going to get this bag. Okay, I've been watching.
Yeah.
They got all these blue duffel bag things. Did you get yours yet?
Yeah, they always take care of us on the first
day. Can you tell me what's in there?
We call it swag, man.
Swag bag.
Free stuff from all the sponsors.
Like, what are we talking about here? Because last year they didn't let me have one. I was here last year. They didn't let me have one.
Well, we'll have to work something out for you this year, man.
Could you hook me up?
Like some shirts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Saxophone, Lisa Simpson, move over. I got a new favorite saxophonist, man. You know what you are now? You're now an FOTM. That means Friend of Toronto Mic'd.
Love it.
I want it in the bio. When do you perform next in the GTA at the Greater Toronto area?
No immediate plans, but hopefully soon. I'm heading to Tobago on Friday, going down to the Caribbean to do a festival down there.
You lucky son of a bitch.
It was nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, man. I'm going to grab a selfie with you, and I'm going to tell my kids I met a great saxophonist. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
No problem.
My dear friend Bernie Nicholls has returned. Bernie, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. I'm going to bring you back to a date in history. You ready for this?
Sure.
It was August 9th, 1988. Do you know what happened on August 9th, 1988?
I was golfing out east with Jeremy Roenick and heard that the LA Kings just traded for Wayne Gretzky, I think.
You got it 100%. So what does that day mean for you professionally? Because, Jimmy Carson was the main guy in LA who went to Edmonton in that blockbuster trade. I want to talk a little bit about what it was like playing with Wayne and how that changed your career.
It was obviously amazing for me, not so good for Jimmy.
Right.
I felt bad for Jimmy, but great opportunity for me, obviously, having the opportunity to play with Gretz. It was, I tell people, it was like Christmas Day every day. It was really a lot of fun. Great experience for sure.
God, and it doesn't hurt. Greatest playmaker in the history of the game.
That's right. Yeah, and
it's good for Bernie.
It was good for me. I got a few of them that year for sure.
And what kind of teammate was Wayne? Obviously, we know what he did on the ice, but I'm just curious about this larger-than-life figure that's still referenced on the daily here in this country. But what kind of a teammate was number 99?
He was awesome. And I've told people before, and I'm not sure why, but I was Gretz's guy that year. Every day we went and had lunch. Every road trip we hung together. I was with them every day for a year. It was amazing.
Amazing. And this is your second Toronto Mic'd appearance, so that's amazing. I envision a Toronto Mic'd logo tattoo. You still getting tattoos?
I'm done with those, but I'll have to work on this one for sure.
All right, I know you're hungry. You can smell that bacon going, man. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes and chatting me up again. We'll do this again next year, okay, Bernie?
Okay, Mike, you bet.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Dave Stewart, your theme song should be When Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. This should be the song that plays to introduce you. Welcome to Toronto Mike, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Now, a fun fact about you, sir, 3 World Series with 3 different teams. That's an exclusive club to win with 3 different teams here. If you had to pick a favorite right now, and I know you're talking to Toronto Mike, so you know what I'm ringing for here, but which of those 3 titles are you most proud of?
Oh, God, I mean, they're all different. You know, the title that I won with the Dodgers in '81. Probably it was rewarding in so many ways, and you know we're in a strike shortened season.
Right.
It was the first time that the playoff format had been altered, and it was different. We lose the first 2 games to the Houston Astros, and we can only lose 3, and then we're out of it. We come back and we win 3 straight. We go to Montreal. We lose the first 2. We come back and we win 3 straight.
Right.
And then
Monday.
we come back. We go to the Yankees. We lose the first 2 in Yankee Stadium and win the next 4. So, you know, that was a great World Series to win, and it's a story that will be told. And if people are watching playoff and World Series history, that team has to go down as one of the best teams in a World Series or a playoff. You know, and in '89, you know, there's drama with the earthquake, and we ended up sweeping the Giants in that one. And so, you know, obviously being from the Bay Area and having that victory, it was a great opportunity and victory against the Giants. And then, you know, the one in here in Toronto, you know, I don't know if it's going to be as climactic as it was when Joe hit that home run off of
Wild
Mitch Williams. Mitch Williams. I don't know that you'd ever have anything to match that moment in baseball, and they show it all the time in baseball. There are home runs that they show. They show Joe Carter's. They show Kirk Gibson.
Right.
But I mean, that was a great World Series to win. I mean, for me, you know, it's tough to say which was the best, but I can tell you what I enjoyed about that one the most.
Yes, please.
It wasn't the fact that they had won in '92. For me, it was the fact that I had an opportunity to play with Paul Molitor. I had the chance to play with Joe Carter, Jack Morris, Paul LaRue, Robbie Alomar. To have the opportunity to play with guys that you looked across the field and you said, if you ever get that opportunity, you want to have it. And I was able to come here, play with those guys, and win. It just didn't come any better. And then the community here, which, you know, I had become very involved in, you know, with the different charities, and it was just, I don't know that there was a better feeling. Montreal was no longer a part of the league, and you know, I can remember going into Vancouver, which is on the West Coast, and people were very, very appreciative of winning a World Series for Canada. So it was winning for a country.
Well, how did you end up here? Did Pat Gillick make you an offer you couldn't refuse, or is it just you wanted to play with people like Joe Carter?
Well, Pat he called me his first opportunity that he could to let me know that I was on the top of his list to bring here if Jimmy Key didn't come back.
Right.
And Jimmy Key did not come back, and I did have an opportunity to play for the Yankees. And so Joe played a big part of it. Alomar played a big part of it. When I look back on it, Devo White ended up being one of my best friends after playing here in Toronto. You know, Paul Molitor was a guy I wanted to play with, and then Jack Morris. And I remember Cito asking me, because I had started 6 or 7 opening days for the Oakland A's.
Right.
And I remember coming here, Cito saying, well, you know, Jack is here. He says, and I want to be respectful of what you want to do, which I think he knew that I would take a back seat to Joe. Take a back seat to Jack. Jack ended up starting open day. I was behind Jack. Then we had Stoudemire, we had Guzman and Henkin, who ended up being our fifth starter, but one of our best starters before the season was over with. So it was all of those opportunities, those things, those people, the city. Those were the things that brought me to Toronto.
Well, I'm so glad you were here. Lest we forget, you had to start in Game 6 when Joe touches them all. You started that game.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about a guy who was dancing on second base when Mitch Williams threw that pitch to Joe. Rickey Henderson. Could you spend a moment telling me about playing with the greatest base stealer the game has ever seen, Rickey Henderson?
Oh, shoot. I grew up with Rickey. I've known Rickey since I was 12 years old. And so I played with Rickey throughout my youth and into the big leagues. And there's just... You called him the greatest base stealer. I think that Rickey Henderson was one of the top 5 players to ever play Major League Baseball. I'm a guy that dominated the game in so many different ways. When he's on the other side, you hate him. When he's in your clubhouse, you love him because he does anything and everything necessary to win a baseball game. There's no guy that I've ever played with or I've ever witnessed, for that matter, even today in today's game, that when he stepped on the field, he had an opportunity to dominate a single performance, a single game, and put a team in a position to win.
And how instrumental was he when Joe Carter hits the walk-off home run, touching them all? Like, how key was it that you had the greatest base stealer in the game dancing on second base, getting in Mitch Williams' head?
Well, it started when you walked him and he was on first base. Now he's on second base.
Right.
He's a distraction in itself. And one of the things that I admired about Rickey, and he said about himself that most people don't even think about, is that, his discipline of the strike zone always put him in a position to do dangerous things in the game. Because if you walk him, he steals 2 bases, he scores on an infield ground ball. If you don't make a good enough pitch, he hits a home run. He was a dominant player. And there's just, I don't think that there's been a player before him or a player after him that could dominate a game in the way that he did.
Now, Joe Carter's the reason you're here today. What's your relationship like with Joe Carter in 2025?
I consider Joe one of my best friends. Playing here started that ball rolling, and I had an opportunity in Arizona when I was the general manager there to bring Joe on as part of our staff, and because Joe is one of the great baseball minds that I've ever been around. To sit and listen to Joe and Alomar and Olerud and to just listen to that crew and Molitor talk about the game, hitting, pitching during the course of the game. I knew at that moment if I had an opportunity to work with him in a different capacity, which it eventually happened, that I would do that.
Yes.
But he's just a great baseball mind and one of the guys that should always be in the game of baseball.
Well, I appreciate this time you gave me here today, and good luck on the course today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Ernie Whitt, welcome to Toronto Mic'd.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, what a pleasure. I'm going to tell you a quick story. My brother Ryan, so shout out to my brother Ryan. We had this thing as kids growing up watching our Blue Jays in the 80s. We all had our own player. I was George Bell, and my brother was Ernie Whitt, Ryan. And at the exhibition, he was very young, but at Exhibition Stadium on the scoreboard, it would say, "We want a hit," on that old Exhibition Stadium. And my brother thought they were saying, "We want Whitt." Okay.
I'm glad to hear someone say they want me.
Oh my God. Man, you know what? Underappreciated catcher back in the day. What are your memories of playing for the Blue Jays back in the good old Exhibition Stadium days?
I guess the whole experience of it, a new team coming into a city that that was craving baseball, I think, at that time, and then watching our team develop and form from 77 through 85 when we won the first division, and watching the crowds get excited, and it
You
was
were there,
a whole
man.
package. It was a whole package.
You were there. Now, I just need a little real talk on Exhibition Stadium. So, obviously, we've been playing in the Dome since '89. I personally look back with great nostalgia, great fondness for the mistake by the lake, as it was known. But can you give me the real talk? Was that a piece of crap to be playing in? Like, what was it like calling Exhibition Stadium home as a Major League Baseball team? Be honest with me, Ernie.
Home is what you make of it, you know? I mean, to me, it was what was given to us and what we had to do to play with it. I felt bad for the fans, you know, especially when inclement weather comes along. There's no place to hide. There was no place to hide in
And that
stadium.
wind coming off Lake Ontario. Oh, my goodness.
That was always a warm breeze.
My favorite player I mentioned was George Bell. You were right up there. I loved Ernie Whitt, number 12. But can you tell me about playing for Joe? Seemed like a fiery competitor, but what kind of teammate was... Sorry, Joe. Did I say Joe?
You did.
George Bell. What kind of teammate was George Bell?
That's an easy one. He was my favorite teammate. I mean, all he wanted to do was win. You know, is just give 100%, do your best, and we want to win. And, you know, a lot of people took, you know, they didn't like his attitude or whatever. I loved it because he was fiery. He wanted to win. And
I'm with you.
That's what it's all about.
See, I want to see the passion in the belly.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
You have to have passion.
Once in a while, you got to tell someone to kiss your purple ass, right?
Every now and then, it doesn't hurt.
Quick little plug from George here.
Hi, I'm George Bell. You listen to Toronto Mike.
So there you go, a little George Bell. Ernie Whitt, would you say, hi, this is Ernie Whitt, you're listening to Toronto Mike?
Hi, this is Ernie Whitt. You're listening to Toronto Mike.
Thank you so much, buddy. Good luck on the course today, and thanks for doing this. It's for a great cause.
Great to see you.
Kenny Lofton, how's the breakfast at this Joe Carter Classic?
Well, it started off pretty good, and then you came in and tried to disturb me from eating. You can't stop a black man from eating his bacon. Jeez.
On that note, thank you for taking 2 minutes. I promised you 2 minutes, but my move lately is I say 2 minutes and I
You're on
take
the clock.
5.
You're on the clock.
5-time AL stolen base leader, man. You were ranked 15th when you retired, 15th amongst the all-time stolen base leaders, 622 stolen bases. But you didn't steal that bacon. You were invited here today.
Well, you know, sometimes my hands and feet, they get a little sneaky. So stealing bases and stealing things is part of my DNA.
I think I was looking at your, like, the teams you played for. You played for every team but the Blue Jays. Is that right?
I played for a lot of teams, and Blue Jays wasn't one of them. They didn't want me over here.
Is that right?
Yeah. No, they had Devon White, so they didn't need me.
Yeah, Devo. So at this event, I believe, at this Joe Carter Classic, in support of Children's Aid Foundation of Canada, I believe Vince Coleman is here. Have you seen Vince? He's on the list, but I haven't seen
Well, I don't
him.
know if he's making. I think his daughter.
Oh,
some stuff with his his track star. I think something was going on.
Because it would be kind of strange, man, for a guy with 622 stolen bases, and you're at this golf tournament, and there's a guy there with more stolen bases. Vince stole 753.
Well, if I was playing in the era when the guys were picking their leg up like Satchel Paige, when the runner's on base, I would have had 800, 900 stolen bases.
May I ask you about somebody we lost in the past year who has the old-time lead? Like, what were your thoughts of Ricky Henderson when you were playing? Was he a guy, you know, you aspired to beat? Or I'm just curious what your relationship would have been like with a guy like Ricky Henderson.
Well, I did take the stolen base title away from Ricky, so I can say that when I came in. But again, when he was in his prime, he was a great leadoff hitter, a great stolen base guy. And once he came in, when I came in, they started to change the way they picked over, or the way they did start doing slide steps instead of the high leg kicks.
Right.
So once they started doing the high leg kicks, the stolen bases in general start to go down.
Will a player ever get 100 stolen bases in a season again?
No.
That's done. You know, Vince, last guy to do it. But enough about Vince. You're Kenny Lofton. You're amazing, buddy. I wish you did play for my Blue Jays. I promised I'd take 2 minutes, and I'm going to be a man of my word. But save some bacon for the rest of us, man.
I'm not doing that. I'm taking it all.
Thanks for doing this, man.
No problem. Anytime.
I'm with the man who made all of this possible. FOTM Rod Black, how you doing, buddy?
I'm Joe Carter. No.
And where the hell's Barkley?
Rodney.
I saw him on the telecast last night.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't make it. I'm broadcasting basketball right now, man. I can't do it. I don't like that Jim Carter guy anyway. Jerry Carter, or whatever his name is.
So let the record show, I'm only here because you got me in here last year.
Well, you're only here because you're good at what you do, and you should deserve to be here, so it's good.
Oh,
who have you talked to today?
So I talked to Kenny Lofton, Ernie Whitt.
He's a great dude.
Kenny Lofton was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ernie Whitt, Bernie Nichols.
Nice.
But let me tell you about who I didn't talk to because I had a face-to-face of Russell Martin. I have a call loaded up. I'm going to play it with you real quick. I know you got to get out of here. But,
no, that's all right.
So this is the call I was going to play for Russell. So I had Russell Martin in my sights, and I'm like, Russell.
I'm sure he can come and do this before you. I will tell you, he is a sweetheart of a guy. Well, and I love that guy.
He said you know what he told me? He said, I hurt my back. I need to work on my swing.
Oh, I don't think he understands that yesterday was important. Today, it don't matter. So it don't matter because you're playing. This is Golfapalooza. There's a party and a golf game breaks out. That's how it works.
No wonder you're here.
Yeah, so it's a good one. But Russ, I was the host of the Baseball Hall of Fame, Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame last summer in St. Mary's, and I have never seen someone more genuine, humble, passionate, emotional about his induction than Russell Martin.
What if I told you he's the only person I asked to come on the mic who said no to me?
No,
But he said it nicest way.
Yeah, he's the nicest guy.
So how can I take advantage of our friendship further? Could you get me Russell Martin for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
And
how long are you going to stay? I will for sure.
Well, I'll stay for Russell. But what about Cito Gaston?
Cito's right there.
I know, but one of the guys who walks around.
We're going to go tee off right away. I got to make these announcements, but grab Cito.
Okay, and one more name.
If not, I can just do a Cito Gaston for you.
Cito, we see each other a lot of.
Cito Gaston.
Okay, that's not quite the same thing though. Yeah. I keep seeing you at Christie Pitts, of course.
I remember when I was the World Series manager. And he should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Well, that's going to be my first thing here. But, okay, so Toronto Maple Leafs baseball.
Yeah, go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go. It's great that the Snowman is an official ambassador. Is Cito Gaston going to be an official ambassador?
Yes, he is. I think he's been signed, sealed, and delivered, I believe. And he's...
Because I could bring that up as well.
He's... and by the way, another great human being. I love Cito Gaston. Should be in the Hall.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he has another chance. It's coming up, and I think he's going to get in. He should be in the Hall. It's wrong that he's not. And there is a reason. Paul Maurice, I do believe, was one of the reasons that the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. Unbelievable coach. Unbelievable coach with people, with talent.
Right.
Cito Gaston's that guy. Cito Gaston. Paul Maurice is actually like Cito Gaston.
You had me at hello. Okay.
Yeah.
But Joe Carter, quickly, the reason for this great event, right? I did have a chat recently with Toronto Maple Leafs manager, Rob Butler. And Rob recorded something for me to play to Cito. So I need Cito on... it's not Cito, Joe. I need Cito too. But I need Joe Carter on my mics for 2 minutes so I can play the Rob Butler clip and have him react.
Yeah.
Can you make that happen? Is it too late?
Yeah, no. We'll try to make sure that happens.
Can't
keep them long because we're going to go tee off soon. And once they're on the course, but...
what if I promise to do 2 minutes? So 2 minutes of Cito, 2 minutes with Joe Carter.
Rob Butler, another... You know how much I love that guy.
Yeah.
You should have seen him at the Conn Smythe Sports Dinner when Cito was honored this year. It was spectacular. And how emotional he got and how Cito Gaston was the reason he has a world championship ring.
Right.
But I love Robbie. I think, who are those guys down there? Is that the Fan 590?
So that's the, I'm taking the leftovers.
Do they not? No. Do they not understand who you are?
It gets worse, right?
Are those guys on CNN?
No.
Hey?
No.
CNN
won't touch those guys.
Seriously.
But Rod, I know you got to go. But last year I took the leftovers when the Fan 590 did their thing.
Yeah.
But this year they put a camera crew out there. So now I've noticed the A-listers are doing the radio.
No. We'll get you guys.
Then I got to
We'll get you for sure. You can get Aaron Hicks as well.
Aaron Hicks. Well, I got
Yeah.
another mic.
Yeah, get him on here, man. This guy is the leader in the clubhouse.
What are we talking about?
By the way, and forget, I think he's the best golfer in the entire Woods family now as well.
Oh no.
Yeah. Even though I know Uncle Tiger, if he came back, he would.
No, we're not doing that.
This guy hits the ball long and hard, just like he did when he was in baseball. But you've transitioned to golf nicely, haven't you?
Yeah, I definitely have. I've been competing in a couple tournaments, but just went under in tournament play for the first time, which was a huge deal to me because every time I seem to get in competition, the nerves are a little bit different than I'm used to. I mean, the nerves are in your hands. Whereas in baseball, you kind of have those nerves, but you could use them to your advantage. But in golf, it doesn't work that way. So it's like my hands are shaking while I'm trying to putt this 3-footer that I'm normally not nervous about.
Were you even born when Joe hit the home run? I don't think you were. I didn't think you were.
What's so funny about that video
What are you talking
is
about?
that I was actually 4 years old when Joe hit the home run.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
So
I was
you
born in
remember it
89.
fondly,
I was born in 89.
There you are.
But it is funny seeing the dates and then seeing a little Joe Carter.
Joe, one of the things about getting a home run and doing this and becoming a hero, you start eating. You start
100%.
eating,
And he's eating good.
And he's a great, by the way, great cook, chef, whatever. You ever had his pecan pie?
Yes, I have.
It's unbelievable. He makes the best pecan pie around.
And his fish too. His fried fish is really good as well. This guy can do it.
I had no idea. Multi-talented people in our midst here.
I see Cito. I got an eye on Cito here. I got to grab
Rod,
Cito over
Rod
here.
invited me here last year, but I didn't know. Rahul listened to the episode, I guess to make sure I didn't embarrass the club or something or whatever, and then he gave the thumbs up for my return. So, like, you opened the door, Rod, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
You know that.
Well, and Aaron Hicks gives you now a complete endorsement.
Well, Aaron Hicks gives me a complete endorsement.
Hang on a second.
I'm here.
Mr. Gaston, Cito Gaston, please come here for a moment.
Could I...
Oh,
he's going to say no to you.
You can come and say quickly. I got to go here, too. I'm going here. Come on here. I got him.
Wow.
All right. So that's...
Oh, I'm announcing you. I'm announcing you. He just wants to say hello. I said you got to say hello to the legend.
No, that was your
Yeah. Come on here. Just hop in for 30 seconds.
They said to me, you got to get over this.
This will be painless.
30 seconds. There you go, brother.
Okay, get as close. I know.
30
Have a
seconds,
seat.
then we gotta go.
30. This is my pledge to you. I just want to say something. All right. It's Aaron Hicks, Cito Gaston here. Cito, really, what I just want to say as a lifelong Toronto Blue Jays fan, I want to say thank you for the years you gave us, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get you in Cooperstown where you belong.
Thank you. I appreciate
That's an oversight.
Thank you.
So I'm going to do everything I can there. I just had a quick question. Are you doing some ambassador work with the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team this year?
I guess you would call it that. One of my players is the manager of that team, and so I thought I'd go out and help him out a little bit and make sure things go right. Butler is the manager. And
you're referring to 1993 World Series champion Rob Butler.
Yeah, Rob Butler.
He said some very kind things about you recently. Now, I promised you 30 seconds, and you're Cito Gaston. I'm not going to betray you. So,
That's okay.
Thank you for doing this, but because of my relationship with Keith Stein and the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball, I think we're going to sit down again this summer with regards to the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball, and then I'm going to hit you with all the questions I've held on to for 20, 30 years.
It's all good.
Thank you, Cito Gaston. FOTM, Cito Gaston.
My pleasure.
He's my favorite human being.
My pleasure.
Oh, my God.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Thanks, Mikey.
Hey, it's a rare appearance by Future Mike. This part might be a bit confusing because I rapped. I was done. I was eating scrambled eggs and I was ready to tear apart my studio when out of nowhere, Rahul. Hello to Rahul. Good to see you again. Rahul brought me Joe Carter. So this conversation with Joe happens after the outro, and I was going to stick it at the end, but too many of you bail on Toronto Mike during the closing theme. So I'm like, I can't stick it at the end. They'll miss Joe Carter, and I play the Rob Butler bit. So this part with Joe records after my outro with Tim. Got it? Got it. So for the listeners, I just rapped and told you we missed out on Joe this year, but we had Joe last year, and we were grateful for every second we spent with Joe Carter. I'm pleased to say Joe Carter is making a minute for us. Joe, nice to see you again.
This is not the real Joe Carter. With the real Joe Carter, please stand up. Please stand up. Yeah. Hey, it's always good to be back.
Hey, congrats on another great event here, the 16th Joe Carter Classic. I'm going to play 15 seconds from somebody you know and love. Here we go.
Right. When you do the golf thing with him, but, because that's what he called me all the time, but, you'll know exactly what you're talking about, but. Said you should be in the Hall of Fame, like the actual Major League Hall of Fame, and see what he says. He'll be like, who? But, oh, yeah, Butler. That's right.
But that is true. Yes, that is what we famously called, Mr. Butler. Yes, Rob Butler. Hey, it's always good to hear his voice.
Well, he thinks you belong in Cooperstown, buddy. Agree or disagree with Rob Butler?
No, I agree. If you look at the criteria, what they say, they look at a 10-year period. And if you pick a 10-year period where I played, I was in the top 3 or 4 in home runs, RBIs, doubles, everything except for batting average.
Right.
But it's not all about batting averages. Batting averages don't win you championships.
Well, you're in the Hall of Fame in my heart, Joe.
Well, thank you.
And I'm getting an evil look over here. I'm going to let you go, but I'm so glad we got to fit you in. I'm like, I can't go to the Joe Carter Classic without talking to the Joe Carter.
Well, thank you guys for being here on spot, on location, because without you guys, we couldn't have always done this. So a lot of notoriety, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm very happy to always be back in my second home.
And the Children's Aid Foundation of Canada thanks you.
Yes, all right. Thank you guys, too. Thank you,
Joe.
Toronto.
Tim Herron, how you doing, buddy?
Excellent, Mike.
We're closing the show with you, and we're going to give the listenership an update on everything that happened. But before we do that, I want to give you my sincere thank you. I can't believe you picked me up at 6:30 a.m. this morning outside my home.
Well, traditions start slowly, and then they build, and this one is in year 2. I look forward to doing it again.
So, I should tell the listenership, you did this last year. You did it again this year. So my big question is, will you do this again next year?
I will be here.
You're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Was that too early? 6:30? I feel it all worked out. Like, we had Rick Vaive early, and then we had about an hour to chill. Like, there was trying to find the second celebrity. It took a while, right?
Well, I think there was the fact that the 2 buses were a little bit later than we expected, and it was a deluge of people that just showed up at with an hour to go before the tee-off time. So somewhere between 8:45 and 9, the next thing you know is 100 plus people descended upon the circle out in front, and it was chaos.
Well, so what happens is we're told at 9:30 everybody's supposed to collect wherever this Rod Black presentations it's happening right now. So at 9:30, all the celebrities are kind of like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be out there. But they didn't get here. So it was tough. I found it tough. One person that I really tried to get, I talked to Rod Black about this, but I really wanted Russell Martin on the show, and I'm told he's a nice guy, and he really did have a couple of minutes because he did the signing here to our left. He went on the fan for 5 minutes or so. I think he's the one that got away this time.
Oh, so we're replacing Paul Henderson with Russell Martin. Is that what we're doing?
2 Canadian heroes. Right. But Rod Black basically wrestled Cito on the mic, and even though I couldn't really get into anything meaty with, I think I told him he belongs in Cooperstown, but I feel like that sets the groundwork for the next time I have Cito Gaston on. We can really get into things.
Nurture nature. You put the seed in the ground there.
Nurture. Yes. We nurtured. We softened the LZ. So thank you to Tim for picking me up and bringing me here and for supporting me. Did you personally wrangle anybody, or did I do all the wrangling this time?
I think it's an 85-15 or 90-10 of you and me. And but I did point out a few people that you weren't aware of.
That's true. And we did have at least one guest on the mic who I wasn't sure who it was, right? So that's always the fun part. And I apologize to Aaron.
Aaron Hicks, who's married to Cheyenne Woods, who's Tiger Woods' niece.
Today I learned. I had no idea. But now all of Rod Black's jokes make sense to me now.
Yes.
In the moment, I was missing them completely.
I figured so.
I thought maybe it was a joke that he's got good at
No.
golf.
Aaron and Cheyenne Woods got married 2 years ago, and they have a son.
Okay, good to know that. So we did get Cito. He's now officially an FOTM, so check that off. We missed out on Russell Martin. We'll work on that next time. Otherwise, the only other person I kind of had my eye on, but he slipped away for the second year in a row, is Jeremy Roenick, because I feel like he'd have something to say, Jeremy Roenick.
And especially since he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame last November. So it would have been an opportunity to ask him, because he gave a very impassioned speech.
Was there anybody else you saw wandering the halls that you feel may have made a great guest?
We'll check over the list.
Where was Dion Phaneuf today?
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him either.
No.
But I had notes for Dion, all set up for Dion.
Yeah.
You and I had a chat in the car about Dion. Look who's to your left. Okay. They made him come back and sign things. So
oh, my goodness.
Now, I can't. He already blew me off once. I'm not going to get blown off twice. But Russell Martin is now, I'd say, what is that, 20 feet away?
Yes.
Okay, we're doing play-by-play. He's signing things for the charity, which, of course, raises
TD.
the money.
Yeah.
And that money, just so we're clear, all of this money is going to the Children's Aid Foundation of Canada, which is a worthy cause. Oh, there's the other guy who got away, and Rod did his best, but Joe
Carter.
Now, we did get him last year.
Yeah.
But I had a clip here. Let me play what I was going to play for him, because who knows what's going to happen in the future. But I was going to play this for Joe Carter.
When you do the golf thing with him, but, okay, that's what he called me all the time, but, you'll know exactly what you're talking about, but, said you should be in the Hall of Fame, like the actual Major League Hall of Fame, and see what he says. He'll be like, who, but, oh yeah, Butler, that's right.
So I was going to play the but, Joe, I personally hope Joe doesn't hear me. I don't think he belongs in the actual Hall of Fame, Joe Carter. I think Cito possibly, Dave Stieb definitely, Carlos Delgado definitely. I think Joe belongs in the Hall of Very, Very Good.
Well, I'll leave that. We all have our opinions.
All right. Well, you know what they say about opinions here. So I know you have some breakfast. We're going to now take the breakfast that the celebrities were entitled to. In my mind, Tim is a celebrity. He's going to do that. So you're now able to eat, because I know cold eggs kind of suck, and I apologize for this, but there's a lot more eggs in that other room. And everybody who tuned in, you never know what to expect. I never know who I'm going to get on the mic. And I feel like maybe we had fewer voices this time, but I will cherish forever Dave Stewart, for example.
Absolutely.
Smoke himself. Like, remember that stare he'd give the batter when he was on the mound? I got that stare
and such
today.
a genuine individual and a very philanthropic individual as well.
And a big surprise, because how much I enjoyed him, because he really fought me on doing this, and then he did it with like a glint in his eye, so to speak. Kenny Lofton. I got a lot of great, and then again, I had a guy on. I wasn't sure who he was, but we were desperate because after Rick, there was a long period of time before we could find anybody. The saxophonist. Like, I got to go hear some of this saxophonist's work. I think in the saxophone community, he's a BFD, a big deal.
Yes, absolutely.
Had you ever heard of him?
I have, because of because he's very good friends with Dave Cause, and I was on a charitable board down in Los Angeles with Dave Cause. So we had a conversation a little bit about his school, Berkeley, in Boston, that he teaches at. So that was a real highlight for me, Mike.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,714th episode. Again, we're recording live from Glen Abbey Golf Club in beautiful Oakville. This is the 16th annual Joe Carter Classic, a golf tournament. We missed out on Joe, but we'll get him next year because, Tim, we're doing it again next year.
Oh, my goodness. 364 days to practice.
Thanks to all who made this possible. And I mean this. We have a big event coming up. I know you can't make it, Tim, but June 26th from 6 to 9 p.m. is TMLX 19 at Great Lakes Brewery. Your first beer's on the house. Palma Pasta is going to feed everybody. So thank you, Great Lakes. Thank you, Palma Pasta. Season 8 of Yes, We Are Open. They've just wrapped that season. Catch up. It's fantastic. Al Grego, happy 50th to you once more. Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. We did discuss it a little bit with Rod Black and Cito Gaston. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Building Toronto Skyline with Nick Iones. And of course, Ridley Funeral Home. I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve, but I can report that tomorrow I will be visited by who's coming over tomorrow? Somebody very important. I'm offline now. I can't check my calendar, but it's going to be a great chat. And I have something else up my sleeve, a top secret Zoom recording at 2 p.m. Walking by us right now, by the way, grabbed himself some juice on the other side, Jeremy Roenick.
Oh my goodness.
See you all tomorrow. This is not future Mike. This is present Mike to tell you tomorrow I'm visited by Josh Matlow. I just checked the calendar on my phone. Josh Matlow making his Toronto Mike debut tomorrow. See you then.